Hello everybody, welcome to Tower Casuals, the Destiny podcast here on Boss Rush Games. I am one of your hosts, Corey Deering, and alongside me, as always, is the Guardian Sour Cream, Josh Finney.
I hate you so much. Why do you do this? You're a monster.
I'm so happy you reminded me about that on Arsenal X last weekend.
I shouldn't have. I'm never gonna be allowed to forget it.
You're not? Nope. Next year for Christmas, I'm just going to send you a big tub of sour cream.
You're going to get my resignation the next day. Do the show by yourself.
No, I need you.
That's what they all say.
I know. How are you, Josh?
I'm good. I'm tired, but we got our first TWAB of the year today.
Yeah, we did. I'm also good, because we got a few announcements outside of Destiny this week that were pretty exciting. You can catch that on Boss Rush Reacts on YouTube. We're getting a Star Wars game, not from EA. We're getting an Indiana Jones game from Machine Games. It's very exciting.
We didn't even mention that Todd Howard is producing that game. I just realized that.
Yeah, I thought you were going there at one point, and then I was like, well, I guess we're moving on to Star Wars now.
I was, and I got sidetracked. So,
yeah.
Oh well.
What else is new? We're always sidetracked.
Todd Howard's making an indie game. Chris Evans may be back as Captain America.
I know. I saw that too. I'm like, in what way?
By the time you listen to this, we'll have seen the first 2 episodes of WandaVision.
It's true. It's what, tomorrow, right? That comes out tomorrow.
3 a.m.
Oh, and I bet you will be up at 3 a.m. to tweet about it after you're done watching it.
No, I'm probably going to wait. My girlfriend has tomorrow off, so I think when she gets home from work tomorrow, when she finishes like a 3 or 4 day stretch, I always go pick up breakfast when I know she's on her way home. And we eat breakfast and like watch TV or something before she goes to sleep and I fall back asleep. So we're probably going to watch it at like 7 a.m. So I don't get spoiled.
Nice. Well, Josh, that's all very exciting news, but I'm sure we will touch on it again on Arsenal X. There's actually a lot to talk about on that show this week, but there's a lot to talk about on this show, Josh. We got our first TWAB of the year, like you said. Very exciting stuff. The season is coming to a close. I still need to play that last mission. I gotta tell you, man, I've been very busy. I've been very busy with Boss Rush stuff. A lot of paperwork stuff, a lot of business style stuff, a questionnaire for everybody. It's been a busy week. Also, 3 days this week I went to bed before 10 p.m. So
I'm proud of you.
Yeah, look, last night I was in bed at 9:30. Josh,
tonight will not be one of those nights for you.
No, it will not. It's already 9:18. So unless we're gonna have a 12-minute show, then but yeah, Josh, man, it's been a hell of a week.
Yeah, it's been exhausting, just all across the board.
Also the Browns won their playoff game against the Steelers. That was exciting for me personally.
You should watch the video version of Arsenal X from this past weekend to see Corey's live reactions. Because while we're doing the show, he's watching the game on his other screen, and just like, I'm surprised he wasn't openly crying.
Yeah, I was definitely making some awkward hand motions and movements and stuff that probably shouldn't have been recorded, but they're there. So, yeah, a lot of this.
Yeah,
a lot of this. So I look like one of those.
Very happy. He was very happy. Everyone
looked like one of those like air things that try to sell cars to you, like, woo, you know what I mean? I forget what they're called. But
Corey's hoping they sell him a championship.
No, dude, I'm just happy we got to the playoffs and we won a playoff game. Okay. Although ESPN did say that whoever wins this game will win the Super Bowl. I think that was his nice way of saying the Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl again.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know about that.
Because we still, like, even if we do miraculously beat the Chiefs, we still have to play the winner of the Ravens-Bills game.
And then if you miraculously win that, you still probably have to play the Packers.
Yeah. So,
GG's.
Yeah. So.
Did you see Kevin Stefanski talking about how he knew when they were about to score because the TV feed was like 45 seconds ahead of his?
Yeah.
So he heard his kids like going nuts upstairs.
Yeah.
And then he'd see it later on. So he was like, I already knew to feel good.
I got to tell you, man, that coach, hell of a job turning the Browns around this year. Our defense is pretty mediocre to put it lightly. But our offense, man,
it's beautiful.
It is.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I believe in Baker.
Yes. Believe land is what we're calling Cleveland.
You guys won a championship with LeBron. You're not hurting that badly anymore.
I'm aware. I know. It was nice. Also, the Cavs pretty mediocre. By the way, I did tweet at the Cavs and said, "Look, it's going to be at least one more week before I care if you guys are mediocre or not." Because I am a Cavs fan, but look, Browns take precedent over the Cavs. Okay.
Meanwhile, I was on LAN party last night, like trying not to look at NBA scores while we're live recording,
right?
Because I didn't want to like scream out loud that the Mavs were finally winning.
Speaking of, should probably save it for trash talk, but James Harden going to the Nets.
I have so many opinions on that. None of them are good.
No, and Cavs got 2 decent players out of that trade somehow, but
they needed a third team to split some of it.
Yeah,
but yeah, I like the haul that Houston got. It was pretty good. The Nets, on the other hand, mortgaged their entire future to hopefully win a championship.
Right.
And if this gamble does not pay off, they're screwed into like the mid 2020s, if not beyond.
Yeah, probably beyond. Well, we're gonna say beyond.
The final first round pick they traded is like 2027 or something.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane. That's 6 years from now.
Mm-hmm.
This is what they did for Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett, and well, look how that one turned out.
I mean, that's what the Cavs did though in the mid to early 2000s when like LeBron came back and they got rid of all their draft picks and all their like future players to build a team around LeBron. So
you had to.
Yeah. I mean, we won a championship. We got there 3 times, so
sure.
4
but
times.
Anyways, this is not trash talk.
It's true. This is Tower Casuals, the Destiny podcast. You can find it live right here on Thursday nights on twitch.tv/BossRushGamesLive or on Friday nights on your podcast feed. Remember to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and leave us some nice words. We appreciate it. Also, email us your questions or tweet at us. We do take questions on the show. Very disappointed in the lack of listener interaction on this show. We get a lot on Arsenal X. We get none for Tower Casuals. 0.
Someone call Greg Osterman III.
Yes, Greg, we need food questions for this show. I can pull up his Arsenal X stuff for this week if you want. I already have it. This guy probably just like as soon as the next episode ends, he just sends the next question. He's probably got them all lined up. So
anyways, Corey, should we get into the TWAB?
We should. Give us that TWAB, Josh. Give us that TWAB.
This was surprisingly meaty for this week, though. I'm very surprised at how much there was to talk about this week. The first thing to get to is rewards for the Dreaming City and the Moon. One of the big complaints since Beyond Light came out is how expansions are still being sold, but the rewards from them are useless. Mm-hmm. This doesn't completely mitigate that, but it does help out a pretty decent amount. Justin Dazzett, who's the rewards lead, talks about it a little bit. He says things that we're going to start seeing in Season 13, which is starting the 9th of February, I believe. Mm-hmm. Reissued Dreaming City and Moon armor, so the Reverie Dawn and the Dreambane sets These will drop with high stats when earned in either dungeon, the Shattered Throne or the Pit of Heresy. The final chest in the Pit of Heresy will no longer drop a fully masterworked armor piece, though. What it will drop is a armor piece that already has 7 energy on it, and is guaranteed to drop with at least 16 in 2 different stats and high stats overall. And class items will no longer drop from that chest. That was the big complaint, because I can't tell you how many times I've run Pit of Heresy and gotten the fucking cloak out of there.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, the cloak is the first thing. Like, my class item is what I max out right away.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that just goes with me season to season.
Right.
One for each element. 4 weapons for each on the Dreaming City and the Moon will be dropped. For the Dreaming City, you will get Waking Vigil, Sleepless, Vouchsafe, and Retold Tale. The weapons that drop in the Shattered Throne dungeon can roll with perks that are unavailable from drops and other reward sources. I like it. It's one of the things we've been asking for a long time. Give us some unique perks. And they finally did that with the Deepstone Crypt. They did it with Trials. If they're going to start doing it in dungeons now, it's a very good sign.
Mm-hmm.
Endgame content should have unique perks. It should have unique perk pools.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the Moon, they did Premonition, Heretic, Blasphemer, and Apostate. These can drop from any source in these destinations, by the way, with the exception of Premonition, which will only drop in the Pit of Heresy. And again, weapons that drop in the Pit of Heresy dungeon can roll with perks that are unavailable from drops and other reward sources. And then the Lost Sector Master and Legend Lost Sectors will be expanded to the 4 on the Moon as well, the rotation. Right now, it's just the 2 that are in the Cosmodrome and the ones on Europa. It's going to expand to the Moon as well.
That's good, because like there's really no reason to go to the Moon at this point. Like, honestly,
there's not.
Unless you want to like do the Pit of Heresy, but like,
yeah,
there's really no reason to go to the Moon.
There's not, and I mean that's kind of how it goes whenever you have an expansion, right? Like Tangled Shore, we didn't really go there after completing the campaign of Forsaken. Any of the endgame stuff was in the Dreaming City, and even that, once we hit Black Armory and Menagerie, we didn't really do anything over there either.
Right.
So
I can't tell you how, like, until this expansion, I was like, I don't even think I've been to the Dreaming City since that season. So
yeah, I mean, I basically went there to do the dungeon and to raid and to farm stuff. I like what Justin says here, though. We're making these changes to help preserve the relevancy of the destinations, specifically some of the pinnacle endgame activities that still exist. To get more specific around the actual experience, activities where reissues are acquired will be heavily weighted towards rewarding reissued gear over capped gear. For example, in the Dreaming City, if you've already obtained an infusion capped weapon, it will not drop for you again. So, like, say that there's a fusion rifle in the Dreaming City. There's not, but let's be hypothetical here, or the sword or something. If that is not something that has the new power cap on it, then it will not drop for you anymore. That's it. It's gone, starting in Season 13, which is good. Now, the thing I want to make really clear here is these are Band-Aids. This is not a great long-term solution, but if it is paid content that is still available, whether it be seasons, now seasons last an entire year, whether it be a full-on paid expansion like Forsaken or Shadowkeep, the gear that is in those, there is no reason that should be sunset until you are sunsetting those destinations.
Right.
Where you're going to make that expansion part of New Light or something. There is no reason that gear should be useless. That gear should always be able to be upgraded and infused. All that does is help build your loot pool and give incentive to go to these destinations. Like, I really can't believe that the Lectern of Enchantment is still pretty much useless on the Moon. Like, not that those weapons are like in the meta, but like I know some people want Loud Lullaby now that 120s are useful, like 120 hand cannons. Why not let us get the stuff from the Lectern? Like that is a whole set of armor and like 8 or 9 weapons you can add to the loot pool. The 3 that drop from both Pit of Heresy and from the what do you call it? The public event out there. The I forget.
I know what you're talking about, where like the ogres and stuff come out.
Yeah. I forget what that's called. The wave public event. That's just what we're gonna call it. Fuck it. The things where they come out of the big pools and whatnot.
Yeah.
And they sacrifice themselves, the nightmares. That, like the weapons that drop from that, I mean, that would be cool to have those weapons back. And I'm pretty sure one of them is. I think the sniper is carried over. Yeah, the sniper is carried over. But yeah, it's like the sniper, the rocket launcher, the shotgun. So I guess those 3 weapons are. But why not make everything? Like, that's just, it feels like it's common sense. And we knew this was going to be one of the issues with sunsetting. Like, we're now getting gear reissued that, honestly, like, I feel like the roles I had should have worked again. That really annoys me because I know personally, like, I destroyed some of these weapons. And now I'm going to have to go get them again. But it also raises a bigger question of, are some of these weapons actually going to be useful or not? Because, like, last I checked, a lot of these are really bad in most activities.
Right.
So it's pretty clear they need a better system for sunsetting, because this simply is not working. This does give incentive to go do those dungeons again, though, because we have the one for Pit of Heresy. Sure, you can go get a powerful out of there. I think you still can, at least. And it was a good source to go get the Masterwork piece of armor to break it down for materials.
Yeah.
But, like, Shattered Throne, when's the last time anybody had to go do Shattered Throne outside of completing activities? Like, now you're telling me I can go do this and I can get weapons with unique loot pools? That's going to get me to go do these dungeons again. Like, that's why I like doing Pit of Heresy, or not Pit of Heresy, Prophecies, because everything in there is unique to it.
Right.
I'm not getting stuff I get everywhere else from those chests. That's the big appeal there. I mean, there's 2 armor sets and everything else to earn. The last thing he says is, while not every gear source or legendary reward will be kept up to date for the whole lifetime these destinations are available, we believe there's high value in targeting specific activity drops for continued relevancy to give you more options where to spend time as you seek to improve your arsenal. This is the bare minimum. I want to make that really clear. This is the bare minimum. I would love to see, like, Legend or Master Lost sectors get added to the ones from the Dreaming City. Even though I know those are definitely, like, more of the traditional Lost sector and not, like, almost mini strikes like the ones on the moon and on Europa are. I'd like to see that come into play for all the destinations that are still available, frankly.
Yeah.
But yeah, so moving on, they talk about tokens.
God. I hate I'm sorry. I hate the token system.
I do too, and that's why I'm glad that we're getting to this, because the token system is no more, Corey.
Thank God.
Tokens can be turned in for legendary gear, which be dismantled for legendary shards and materials. Look to the future. We want to update you how you earn reputation with the ritual vendors and rewards that come from them. So the first thing they're going to do is add 2 new weapon rewards to each of the 3 playlists. So across Vanguard, Crucible, and Gambit, which is in addition to the ones added in Season of the Hunt. So there's going to be 3 unique weapons for each one of those. So, like, Stars and Shadow, for example, will now be joined by 2 other guns in the Crucible that you can earn. This is good. These are, again, this is stuff that needs to happen. You need to have specific loot pools for specific activities so you can target your grind. I like that. Starting in Season 13, Gambit and Crucible, and a future season for Strikes, rank rewards will be visible on the ritual vendors. Each season you'll be greeted by a row of rewards, progression towards which will be earned automatically as you complete playlist activities. Instead of having rank rewards dropped automatically into your loot stream, they will now be picked up manually from the vendor. We feel this gives more visibility into what you'll be earning as you progress, and helps you make better choices about where to spend your time. So, for example, for Gambit and Crucible this season, rank 4 will earn you 3 upgrade modules. Rank 7 will earn you 3 enhancement cores. Rank 10 will earn you a special shader, but after you've reset your rank, that will change to 3 enhancement cores. Rank 13 gives you 2 enhancement prisms. Rank 16 gives you a special emblem, which will change to 2 enhancement prisms after resetting your rank. And then resetting your rank will earn you an Ascendant Shard. Ye old golf ball, which will change to an exotic engram after you do that. So that's really cool to me. You can repeat this as much as you want, but you're going to earn 1 Ascendant Shard per season from each activity if you just reset your rank in it, which, you know, it seems to be like it's going to take 20 of filling up the bar to do it. So, like, between strikes between Bounty, Strikes, Crucible, Gambit, whatever.
Right.
Each vendor is going to have one of those.
Crucible's usually pretty easy to do all that in.
Crucible's the absolute easiest to do it in, I think. And this will actually get me to go play Gambit. If I know I get an Ascendant Shard at the end, like I may not reset it more than once, but I'll get an Ascendant Shard out of it. Cool. Like I want that for masterworking my gear.
Right.
The amount that they're being generous with the prisms, I think, is the big story here, because you get 2 on your initial run through, and then you get 4 for everyone after that.
Right.
That's a big deal. I mean, you can turn in 10
prisms are hard to get. Like they're just prisms,
but they're easier than ever. That's the thing. Like there's mods for your ghost you can slap on, and you have a chance to get those from popping off headshots in Gambit, Crucible, or in Strike playlists. I have never found it easier to get prisms than I have with Beyond Light.
No, I mean, I'm not saying they're easy. I'm just saying it's still like difficult. These things.
Oh yeah, I mean, these are endgame. These are exotic materials. These are endgame materials. Like it's a challenge. I like that they're giving these options, though. They're making it more accessible to people who only play like one activity, for instance. You can still upgrade your gear. If all you want to do is play PvP, you've got a route here now. If all you want to play is Gambit, yes, I do know a person who does that. You have a route now. If you're somebody who plays everything like we do, you've got routes for it. And I like that. In addition, every rank up, every time you fill up that bar, rewards you a ritual engram. So you can get a piece of armor from the Crucible set, for example, or one of the weapons. And each of the above ranks that we just listed, which are ranks 4, 7, 10, 13, 16, and presumably 20, will reward you a prime engram on top of that. That's pretty generous to me.
It is. I feel like
I think that's pretty generous across the board. Like leveling up has never been easier.
No, it definitely has not. I mean, like I feel like the way they're being generous with some of the stuff, like you still have to work for it, but just feels like. I just like even when Destiny 2 started, it was just kind of like, man, it's taking forever to get this stuff, and now it's just kind of like, oh well, it's going to be difficult, but here's what you can do to earn this. There's clear paths to leveling up and clear paths to earning these things, and it's just so much nicer to see that.
Well, and then the final note here, which is something that I know Corey and I are both very excited about. Due to automated progression, Crucible tokens are no longer needed and will be deprecated into junk that will delete as a full stack starting in Season 13. So cash in those tokens before the end of the season. Get ready to earn Masterwork materials. I personally will turn in a lot of mine just to shred the weapons for the potential for cores.
Mm-hmm.
I will, for the legendary shards, I'm sitting on like 10,000 tokens.
Yeah.
I just don't use them. They did clarify later on. I don't think it was done in here. I think it may have been on either Reddit or on Twitter. Damage addressed it and said that right now they'll let us know about Crucible tokens when the time comes and they implement that to strikes. And everything else that is token based, you're holding on to those tokens for now because they haven't quite decided how to progress. So they're kind of hinting that something's going to happen with Iron Banner probably as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of wonder about my Leviathan tokens because I got 100 of those bad boys and I don't want those going away. So now that we're out of rewards, that's kind of like the rewards overview for this week. They're going to have a few more TWABs leading up to the new season. They're going to tackle some new things each season or each week. They talked about nerfing Stasis, specifically the Hunter, Revenant, Shatter Dive. They've reduced the potency of the Shatter Dive plus the Whisper of Fissures against Guardians, which will go live with Tuesday's fix. Damage falloff versus unfrozen targets. Max range damage reduced from 50 to 5. Damage reduction during ability reduced from 50% to 25%. And then a whole bunch of other numbers for min-max is there as well. Detonation radius is reduced. And they said they're going to let all this happen before they start addressing the Titan Behemoth super. That's not as strong, or it should be strong. Like it should have the potency that Shatter Dive did, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's their short-term goal, to address outlier stasis abilities to keep subclass decision-making interesting. And a lot of this was because of the primarily PvP crowd did rightfully make a very big issue out of this over the Christmas break. Basically, everybody's spamming Hunter Stasis in Trials. There's nothing else worth using.
Yeah.
This should make it a bit of a challenge. Like, okay, maybe we can't just spam this, like freeze people and then slam them anymore. Midterm goal, improve PvP subclass usage and win rate balance. Addressing Stasis ability outliers will help us lower the ceiling, but we want to pull up other underperforming light subclasses. And then review our ability to gunplay balance in PvP, because right now it's ability city out there.
Yeah.
Whereas the gun meta has literally never felt better in comp to me, or in PvP in general. You can pretty much use whatever you want.
How much of that though is like, I don't care what I'm using because I know they're just going to stasis me. So it really, like, I'll just use what I think I like to use at this point.
So I'm going to be honest. When I play regular Crucible, when I go into control and stuff, I don't encounter a ton of stasis. I still see a pretty wide variety of stuff in that and in Clash. Where I see stasis at the most, though, is I was seeing it when Trials wasn't around. And they would all just hang out as 6 stacks in control with the rest of us. And I see it a lot in Iron Banner. That's where I see a lot of stasis at. I'm excited for the next Iron Banner now because I want to see how this drop-off affects it. And then let's see here. We're still in very early discussions, but we're looking into restoring a better balance where proper gunplay is rewarding in these playlists. That's good. I mean, I think the gunplay needs to be the thing. Like, you're a space wizard, but you shouldn't be able to spam your abilities.
Yeah.
I think it's been a problem, and they do make note of that. Destiny is a game about both the explosive space magic moments and intrinsically satisfying gunplay. Especially in our 3v3 lists, the usage of abilities has climbed as we introduce more and more ways to quickly charge them. And that's true. I mean, look at how quickly a hunter can get a dodge back. I get mine back in 10 seconds.
Right.
That's bonkers. Titans could get, shields back super fast.
Yeah, I mean, I can't tell you the mods that I put on my Titan to get abilities and stuff back super fast is just like, it's obnoxious. It's stupid. Like, I mean, yeah, that's how I built my Titan, but it's still just stupid. If someone like me can figure it out, people who are like super deep into like really modding their character out to specific, play types is just, it's stupid.
Yeah. I mean, like, I run mine specifically with a charge with light build. And I mean, like, I've changed that a little bit as Stasis has come out. That kind of threw a wrinkle into, like, oh shit, well, there's stuff I want to use here now. Not Stasis specific ones, but things to help me get those abilities back quicker that I didn't necessarily care about. Like, I don't care about my melee a lot when I'm running, when I'm not running invisible smoke or my throwing knives. Like, I don't really care about or if it's not the primary throwing knife, the explosive knife, I don't really care about what my melee does. Well, when I run Stasis, I definitely care because it slows down enemies and or freezes and shatters them.
Yeah.
So I love that. The last thing that we have here in the TWAB this week, God, it's a long freaking TWAB, is the patch notes for next week. Everybody can go take a look at that. There's some stuff. I'm looking to see if there's anything spicy. Probably the biggest thing is the High Settlement mission, which is the final mission of the season, is being fixed. There were issues where people couldn't damage or he wouldn't go to the Ascendant Realm, or you couldn't jump through the portal. That is fixed. Taken Scions were replicating too rapidly in Prophecy Dungeon encounters. Can confirm. I ran it with Nerd Generalist and Colonel Panic a few weeks ago, probably about a month and a half ago now, and that was just a fucking nightmare. We had more problems with the Scions than we did with the final boss. And then this is the issue right here. This is the big one for all of us who want to go for flawless. Fixed an exploit where players could have shelter from the storm permanently applied in the Deepstone Crypt.
Jesus.
So we actually have to go through the bubbles now.
Aww.
That's crazy.
Aww.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping they would just leave it there, but I think they've been like, okay, y'all have had like 2 months of fun with this. It's time for it to go away.
Yeah, we should run it one more time.
The fun police have come for it.
We should run it one more time before they fix the bubbles.
I'm very happy that we all got the Sparrow before that got fixed.
Yeah.
I would love to get flawless before then, but it's just not going to happen. Everybody has to go flawless, and that's nice. It's not going to happen. I've got it down to where literally the only place I die now is the spacewalk.
Yeah.
But still, it's you got to get all 6 people through there. I would love to get that shader, but it ain't going to happen.
Yeah.
So those are the big ones. Looking to see if we've got anything else. Here we go. On February 9th, Halo.Bungie.net will be taken offline permanently. So stats, files, and other data from Halo 2 to Halo Reach will no longer be available.
Is that because of Microsoft's taking the online stuff down from those games, or is
I believe so. But even if that was the case, Halo 2 servers went offline like 10 years ago.
Right, but I mean that's all still connected with Halo 3 and ODST and Reach, right?
I would say yes. That's what this is.
Let's see what that website looks like right now.
For anybody who has done the high celibate mission, by the way, the ship that is shown in the rewards is a rare drop, and your chances increase with every completion that you do of it. So I'm actually probably going to have to start running it on multiple characters just because I really want that ship. And I think that is it. I think that's it for the TWAB this week. I'm looking to see if they have any note at the end, but I think we've got it all now.
There's a Russian community manager now. You missed that very important note.
Yeah, I missed it. Definitely missed it. The main thing I had wanted to talk about this week was going to be the PvP issues and the loot issues, and well, they addressed both of them in the TWAB. So,
well, it's good though. I mean,
it is good. Those are the two big things that were really coming up over the Christmas break. God, the Reddit community is just unbearable right now.
When is it not though? At this point,
dude, it's even worse than normal. It's just we've now come full circle to where the same people who were saying that Season of Dawn was dog shit when it came out is now the ideal season, and we're like, no, what are you talking about? Like,
what are you talking about?
I liked it, but I was one of like a dozen people who was okay with it. Like, I think it was great. You had a seasonal activity, you had plenty of lore, you had some story missions with Saint 14. We did the build up to Trials coming back. We had the Corridors of Time. We had some unique exotics. Like, I'm about the only person I think who actually enjoyed it. If every season was like that or Season of Arrivals, I'd be completely happy.
Yeah.
But, like, not everything's going to be super engaging. Like, this is the season that a game came out. Like, if the next season is bad, then yeah, we need to start holding him the task again. But,
man, people you just never please some people.
No, you can't. And especially like such a large community like that, it's pretty rough, I think.
Yeah. Man, that's... Anyways, that's... Before we go on a angry Reddit people rant, what's next on the docket?
I think really all we've got left is Lore Corner.
Ooh, Lore Corner. I got my Grimoire book, by the way.
I love it. It's so good.
I know.
I love how those books
It's definitely the best one so far.
I think so.
At least like presentation wise, it's definitely the best.
Yeah. They've learned a lot since they started making them a couple of years ago.
Mm.
You put one out every year, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
So for Lore Corner tonight, we're going to keep reading about the caches that Cayde left. We're going to read a few more of them. Kind of give some insight into who Cayde was as a man, and we're going to start the man who they called Cayde next week. Just while we're kind of wrapping this season up, I want to talk a lot about Cayde. He's been on my mind lately.
I saw someone with a Cayde shirt on Twitter, and I was like, oh, man. I remember that guy.
I'm trying to find where I was going to start at. Okay, so we're going to start with the cache that he leaves for Taniks. This one's for the Armless Coward, Taniks the Sacred. Or Scarred, not Sacred. If you're listening to this, You killed me, but I bet I took a big chunk of your ugly husk with me. Guess Andal Brask wasn't enough for you, huh? You wanted another Hunter Vanguard for your sick collection? I got my share of regrets, sure, but not putting a bullet in you has got to rank in the top 3. Won't be long before a better Guardian than me puts you in your place. Just wish I could be there to see it. So that's kind of that in a strange way. That's like kind of prophesying what we're going to do in the Deepstone Crypt Titanics. We're going to put him down yet again, even though we did it twice in Destiny 1. This one's for the fellow who calls himself the Drifter. You did warn me running with you would put a target on my back. Guess I'm in good company, though, huh? After all, never had any fun without a little risk. That's the whole idea with the operation you're putting together, ain't it? My idea, by the way. Had it like a million years ago, back when you were still handsome. So you're welcome. You know, getting that up and running means coming out of hiding, giving you-know-who another shot at you. Hope I was around to see that showdown. Personally, my money was on the guy with the golden gun, but hey, what do I know? I'm dead. He is referring to... oh God, I'm blanking on his. Oh Jesus Christ! I can't believe I'm blanking on his name. I talk about him all the time. I feel really bad now. Oh Jesus Christ! I can't. I feel really stupid right now because I've been asking for it. Shin Malfer. That's Shin Malfer. God, Shin, the original, one of the original wielders of the Last Word after Jaden Ward. He inherits not only the gun, but Jaden's ghost as well. He's the only person we know who has inherited a ghost of another person. Shin, of course, with his fight with Dredge and Yor, is legendary at this point. He's the first one to ever infuse the light into a gun, and that's why the golden gun, when you pull it out, is the Last Word. Him and Drifter have a feud that goes back hundreds of years, especially because Drifter runs with the Dredgens. You know, hey, the dark is good, this and that. We know what they're referring to here is Gambit. Cayde was helping get Gambit up and running and felt it was necessary for the Guardians. And we also know from the lore that Shin and Shaxx were secretly keeping tabs on this. Shin was sending his own agents in there disguised as Dredgens to try and get close to the Drifter. Even has us spy on him a little bit. Not he doesn't have us, but somebody has us spy on the Drifter. And that's when you have to make the loyalty choice back in Joker's Wild. But I like this bigger world building, especially when it comes to the Hunters, because it's basically the only one we ever got on screen was Cayde. Shiro. Shiro doesn't count, though. They basically did nothing with them, unfortunately. Other than that, they're all dead. We hear about them in the lore, and that's about it. We covered Petra last week. We covered Deepstone Crypt last week. Where is the other one? Oh, this one I like. This one's for any hunter who kills me. Best guess? Marcus Wren. You realize you get my stuff now, right? All my stuff, including the Hunter Vanguard gig. Yeah, congratulations, dummy. That's what we call a Vanguard dare. Sucks, doesn't it? Okay, brace yourself for some advice, hotshot. 1, know your people. Like my Nessus scout, Quantus Ree. I like to call her about once a moon, else she gets a little too much night and not enough stalker, you know? 2, keep your weapons sharp. Your job's to watch everyone's back, which means no one's watching yours but you. And 3, start thinking now about what you want to do for your successor's Vanguard dare. Because trust me, kid, the gig is going to kill you. And that's true. There's a reason why there's no ex-Hunter Vanguards. They're all dead. The only one that we have an inkling of that might still be alive is Tallulah Fairwind, who was back before Andal. So, like, hundreds of years ago. One of the very first ones. But it is clear, you know, Andal is dead, Cayde is dead. They've pretty much set it up pretty perfectly at the end of the High Celibate mission to imply that Uldren is at least going to come, the Crow, is going to come to the tower sometime soon. And if he's not the Hunter Vanguard by the time of the Witch Queen, I'll be shocked.
Yeah.
That's the gig they're setting up for, which I think is really good. I think it's necessary for the evolution of the universe.
Yeah. I think that's going to play out really interesting. I know we talk about it a lot, but the fact that they like absolutely hate him for what he did to Cayde, and now he like has to take Cade's job and doesn't even really know what he did yet.
Yeah, he has no idea, but he's been killed repeatedly by Guardians over it.
Yeah.
So. Who is the last one? We're gonna do one more. We're not gonna do Zavala and Ikora's, because, I mean, it has basically no bearing. It's just it's a lot of his personal relationships. This is the last one. It's the last one that you find. It's for the Guardian. This one's for the strong silent type. You, congratulations, buddy. I mean that. Always knew you'd have to do me someday, and if that means you had to do me into, you saved my life on Nessus, so I owed it to you anyways. Take care of the Ace of Spades, will you? I'm not just talking about the maintenance. Banshee can help you with all that. I mean, take care of Ace. Use it well. Oh, hey, and if you found any of those papers from my earlier deployments, burn them. Don't want people poking through the lives of Cayde 0 through 5. So just put it all behind you, okay? Every story has an end, and this is mine. It's rough. It's rough to read that. Right? Because
I mean, Ace is his kid, right?
Ace is Cade's son.
Yeah.
He wakes up, when he's resurrected, there's a journal next to him. Mm-hmm. And it's letters he was hypothetically writing to his son. We're going to definitely get into Cade's past next week. We're going to talk about the man who they called Cayde. But one thing I wanted to bring back to everybody's attention, last week we talked about what he wrote to Petra. And the final sentence of what he did is, he says, and tell Paladin Orin, which Paladin Orin is the agent of the Nine, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
If the sun over Nessus escapes Nebula Cycle, evac labor under dawn, under solstice. If you go ahead and you space all of that out, it spells out, if you take the first letter out of every word, it spells it's on Enceladus. And that's where the theory of the Deepstone Crypt came from, was that, oh shit, we're going to go to Enceladus. That's where it's at. That's got to be where it's at. There's something to the Deepstone Crypt people in this as well. And I think they're holding it. I don't know what they're holding it for, but it's clearly something having to do with the Nine or with the Awoken. I would stay specifically with the Nine. Maybe it's what Mara is off doing. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm very, very curious to know what happens with that. That's one of the more outstanding mysteries, is it's on Enceladus. And that's not even something I would have even realized. Like, this really shows the importance of people who understand this much more than I do. Had Bife never talked about it, I probably would never have understood the importance of that. But I do think that we are going to see more Clovis Bray stuff at some point. Because, I mean, Enceladus is a moon of Saturn. Mm. So, I mean, hey, maybe that's somehow where we fight Savathun. Like, who knows? Like,
maybe it's part of the Witch Queen raid.
Yeah. I was going to say, maybe it's part of the Witch Queen raid. Like, maybe that's the true crypt or something. Who knows? Like, there's so much stuff. Like, we're not even close to being done with Clovis Bray's part in this story.
Right.
So, yeah, who knows? Yeah, but it's on and so maybe Cayde found a pyramid ship. We know he worked very closely with the Awoken, much more than anybody else from the city, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So, who knows? It was him and Eris were the ones who really worked with them.
Right.
There's a couple of others. There's Zavala, there's Ikora. And the other one is for... there's one for Hawthorne and there's one for Eris. Basically for each of the main characters in Forsaken. There's one. So, encourage you to go read those on your own. You can find the complete dialogue on Ishtar Collective. That's where I just read these off of. And next week we're going to start The Man Who They Called Cayde. We're going to start that lore book. We're going to read from the fancy Grimoire Anthology Volume 3.
Can't wait. It's going to be awesome.
I'm excited.
I'm also excited. Well, Josh, that wraps up the Lore Corner.
Yeah, I think that's all I've got for tonight. If you've got something,
no,
fire.
No, I mean, this is our shortest show in a while. I think it's fine to have short shows, right? Like, I mean,
Yeah,
great. I mean, it's what we intended to set out for at the beginning anyway. But, I mean, besides, the new season coming up, there's nothing really going on at this point, So, I mean, I think it's
pretty short overall. Yeah. There's not a lot. Like, catch up on Hawkmoon if you haven't done it. Do the High Celibate. Some cool stuff. They've said there's still some more surprises to come before the next season.
Yeah.
So the theory is there may be another legendary pinnacle weapon that'll get revealed. Maybe a third exotic. Who knows?
Yeah.
Or another exotic. Not necessarily a third, but another exotic.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to try to get that stuff done this weekend. Stuff I've been meaning to do for a couple weeks now. I just haven't, busy.
And the Hawkmoon mission is just so special.
Yeah. I want to get that done. I want to do the last mission. I've been trying to finish Cyberpunk, and I actually hit a pretty big glitch in that game, and I don't know if I can restart it or not. So I might actually just be done until those new gen patches come through or whatever. But
I have so many things to say about that on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about it Sunday, but I'm doing the side mission with Pan Am where you're driving the Panzer, and
so good.
Yeah, well, I assume you have to get in the Panzer to do the mission, and wherever this Panzer is, it's just like hovering on top of a invisible something, so it can't hit the ground, and so I can't get in it. And
my God!
And I've reloaded saves, and I can't get in it. So that's a conversation for Arsenal X. But I want to thank everybody for watching and or listening to Tower Casuals. Remember, you can tweet at us, follow us on Twitter at Tower Casuals. Join our Boss Rush Games at Discord. You can also email the show at towercasuals@gmail.com if you want to be real old school about it. Josh, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Twitch as @Josh_Finn with 2 N's. I'm finishing up Control right now. Got in a couple days of Control, and then I think we're gonna launch on into old Greedfall.
Pirate Lord Josh Finney. How do you like Control?
I loved Control when I played it. It barely ran on my Xbox One S.
Mm-hmm.
I still get some glitches on my Series X, but that next gen patch is supposed to be out, I think, next week.
Yeah.
Or in 2 weeks or something.
I think it's this first week of February, I think.
And since they won't confirm if the patch is coming to Game Pass, which I'd almost assume it's not.
Yeah.
I'm going to end up buying it since I want to play the DLC anyway, so I'll just wait for the next time that it goes on sale for $20.
Yeah. I was thinking the same thing, but you can find me at IamCorianHD on Twitter and Instagram. You can find us both on Arsenal X, the Xbox podcast, and check out the Boss Rush podcast, which I host also. So well, thank everybody so much for watching and or listening. Thank you again, Josh, for joining me tonight on this wonderful Thursday evening. And we will see you next week. Goodbye, Guardians.
Goodbye now.
Goodbye.